In 1997, Rena Virk was a 14-year-old girl from British Columbia. She was invited to a party and never returned home because she was savagely beaten and murdered by a group of her own peers. Rena's family had immigrated from India and converted from Hinduism to Jehovah's Witness. Rena desperately struggled with her self-esteem and wanted nothing more than to just fit in at school, and unfortunately she was terribly bullied throughout her childhood. One day she met a group of kids that she considered the cool kids. They were allowed to have more freedom, stay out late, smoking and drinking. And Rena ended up spending time in the foster system after she falsely accused her father of abuse. It was her belief that life within the system would be better than being under the rules of her parents. And her mom and dad just hoped and prayed that this was just a phase that would ultimately pass. This is Nicole Cook, and she was basically everything that Rena envied. And one day Nicole left her phone book at Rena's house, and Rena made the decision to call a group of boys listed inside. She spread a bunch of nasty rumors about Nicole. She told them that her boobs were fake, her eyebrows were fake, and she had AIDS. And of course, when Nicole discovered what Rena had done, she was furious. And this was when she devised a plan of revenge. Her friend invited Rena to a gathering at the Shoreline School on November 14th, 1997. The group ended up under the Craig Flower Bridge. This was when Nicole confronted Rena and actually put her cigarette out on Rena's head. And suddenly there were about 8 kids swarming around Rena, attacking her. The attack lasted about a minute, and Rena was left laying at the shoreline of the water, bleeding and crying. At this point in time, most of the group dispersed and many ran away. Nobody stepped in to see if Rena was okay. Rena managed to stand up and stagger over the bridge on her way home, but tragically she would never make it home. 16-year-old Warren Glowatowski and 15-year-old Kelly Ellard followed Rena over the bridge, and they continued to assault her and attack her until she was unconscious. At this point in time, they each grabbed an ankle and dragged Rena to the water. Warren said that he let go, and Kelly pulled Rena into the gorge until she was waist deep in the water. And here she drowned Rena. Rena's body wasn't found until 8 days later on November 22nd. Her ultimate cause of death was drowning, but the severity of her head wounds were atrocious, and she likely would have died anyway had she not been drowned. Her injuries were consistent with a victim of a car crash. Because of the severity of what Warren and Kelly had done, they were tried as adults. The other 6 who were arrested were sentenced to 60 days up to 1 year. Warren and Kelly were convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 7 years. In June of 2007, Warren met privately with Rena's parents and apologized for his actions and her death, and in an extraordinary act of forgiveness, they did accept his apology. He was granted full parole in 2010. Kelly went on to have 2 children while in the prison system. She has since changed her name to Carrie Marie Sim. According to parole documents, she's currently living in a community-based residential facility, and her parole was extended for another 6 months. The community was stunned with the fact that 8 teenagers could be involved in such a vicious act, most of them being